Eric Bach here from Bach Performance, and today I'm going to show you 5 simple steps to master the hang clean so you can build a strong, lean, and athletic body. Before you go any further, it's 100% crucial that you hit subscribe now before watching the rest of this video. What if you could train over 200 muscles and get more athletic with one exercise? Well, you can, and that exercise is the hang clean. But a lot of times when you see hang cleans, power cleans, and Olympic lifts done in the gym, you end up with things like starfish legs, knock knees, and people ending up on the floor. I don't want you to end up like one of those embarrassing fail videos. So what I'm gonna do today is show you 5 simple exercises that are gonna help you progress in order to do a hang power clean, right? So once we get this down, you're gonna have one exercise that you might not be able to compete in Olympic lifts, but you're gonna be able to build strength, muscle, and improve performance at the same time. You ready? Let's do it. Without further ado, here's a simple 5-step progression to learn how to hang clean for building athletic muscle. Now, we're learning the hang clean here. There are different forms of cleans. We have cleans from the floor, power cleans from the floor, but you catch the bar high, hang cleans, where you start tall and you catch the bar with a full squat, and hang power cleans, where you start tall and catch the bar in a high position. Hang means you start with the bar in your hands in that tall standing position, whereas tall or power means you'll catch tall, not in the squat position. So the hang clean means we start tall, do the clean, and hit the squat as well. The first exercise is the Romanian deadlift. This is the starting position when pulling from the blocks or the hang position. Keep your chest tall and hold the bar at hip height against mid-thigh. Brace your core and hinge the hips rather than reaching for the ground. The bar should pass just below the knee while the spine stays welded before returning back to the standing position with full hip extension. The Romanian deadlift that begins from the tall position versus the floor. RDLs place more stress directly on your glutes and hamstrings. These are the powerhouse muscles for building speed and having a nice ass. One of the biggest mistakes most lifters make is squatting their deadlifts. In the case of the Romanian deadlift, you need to focus on performing a hip hinge. Keep your feet at shoulder width, squeeze the barbell, keep soft knees so your knees are not locked, and then initiate the entire movement from your hips by pushing your butt back as far as you can while maintaining a neutral spine position. Once you reach the maximum stretch on your hamstrings, return back to the tall standing position. Many people make the mistake of only using the Romanian deadlift with higher reps. Your hamstrings are primarily a fast twitch muscle, meaning they take well to heavy weights and low reps. I recommend training Romanian deadlifts for 4 sets of 4 to 6 reps once per week to build strength and power. If there is a second training day during the week, feel free to mix in higher rep training. The second exercise in the progression is the hacky pull. Beware, this exercise is controversial. Now, we don't want you to habitually pop the bar off of your legs, as this will disrupt the natural bar path that should take place within a clean. But at least in the realm of athletic performance, the most important part of the clean is maximizing hip extension. So in this, you begin with an RDL position and the bar just below the knee. Accelerate the bar as it passes your knee. Aggressively extend the hips forward, popping the bar off your thighs. This movement teaches you to reach full hip extension before breaking at the elbows during the pull. Always remember this: when your elbows bend, the power ends. The hips must extend first, or the athletic carryover of triple extension is minimized, thereby reducing speed and power. If you jump forward or drop under the bar too quickly, you're likely missing hip extension. Now, this is to teach hip extension, so be conservative with how you program the hacky pull, because we do not want you to get in the habit of bouncing the bar away from vertical. Eventually, the bar will be moving in a position where your body retreats and you're driving your elbows up, keeping it on a vertical bar path, which leads us to our next exercise, the high pull, or more specifically, the high pull from the hang position. The high pull is a great exercise for accelerating the bar after hip extension. The high pull is also a great exercise for building the powerful X-shaped physique. It'll help you add tons of muscle to your mid-back, rhomboids, and traps, while also training your hamstrings, glutes, and lower back. But using the high pull to get jacked is slightly different from using it to learn the clean. Now, the high pull helps you develop size, strength, and coordination to transfer the power from your lower body, that is bringing the bar up and transferring the bar to that vertical bar path. The only difference between the high pull and the hang power clean is with the high pull, you do not catch the weight on the high pull. When it comes to using the high pull to learn how to clean, remember this: when your elbows bend, the power ends. So you have to extend your hips at the same time before you break at the elbows. Once hip extension is ingrained, you want to complete the second pull and catch phases. As you finish extending the hips, knees, and ankles, shrug your shoulders, bending your elbows as the bar rises, and transferring the weightless bar. Because you have those other movement patterns down, all you need to do is pull your body underneath. Rotate your elbows forward and rack the bar on the front of your deltoids in the shelf position. Once you catch, loosen your grip and allow your wrist to turn upwards for your elbows to stay parallel with the ground. Nearly every muscle is engaged in firing to maximize explosiveness. Stabilize the core for transferring the load and to execute the clean correctly. The ultra-efficient exercise ignites the central nervous system to recruit more muscle fibers, challenging fast-twitch muscle fibers and potentiating your central nervous system to allow the greater use of training loads on subsequent exercises. Another way to think of this is when you're doing a clean, when you are having explosive exercises into your training, it's going to activate more muscle fibers and make everything else that you do more effective for the rest of your training session. So take a look at any experienced Olympic lifter and you will find that they have an incredibly jacked posterior chain with thick glutes, spinal erectors, yoke traps, and meat hooks for forearms. Finally, once we get to the full hang clean, we add in the squat position. So when we're doing a hang clean, we initiate directly from that hang position as mentioned before, and then as we are getting full hip extension, we drop underneath and we can actually use our legs to finish off the movement. So in the beginning, what we're gonna do is we're gonna teach you how to actually get underneath the bar. So you might be catching and then doing a front squat, but eventually, as you get that movement pattern ingrained, what you're gonna be able to do is you're gonna be able to extend and then drop underneath it, and that's gonna allow you to use a heavier load. Now, when you have a competitive weightlifter, they do things a little bit differently where they're trying to get underneath that bar fairly quickly because they're focused on moving as much weight as possible. But unless you're competing in an event, then that's not gonna matter quite as much. Why are we doing hang cleans versus the power clean? For building muscle, I prefer the hang clean compared to the power clean. The primary reason being, when we have the hang clean, we're actually catching, and therefore, when we have that catch, we have more eccentric loading directly on the traps and more time under tension. So if you actually take a step back and you look at competitive weightlifters back in the 50s and 60s, before bumper plates were around, they were not allowed to drop the weight. So because they had that additional eccentric loading, they were challenging their muscles to a greater extent. So these lifters were building a ton more muscle mass directly in their traps, upper back, shoulders, and arms, because they didn't want to drop the plates and bend the bars. So now what we want to be able to use, we want to use hang cleans so we have a dose of the same benefit. By absorbing the bar on the way down and starting from the hang position, you place more stress on your muscles than when you drop each rep. To emphasize muscle growth with hang cleans, try doing 4 work sets of 4 to 6 reps with 2 to 3 minutes of rest in between those sets. If you were looking to build maximum strength with a hang clean, what you want to do, well, you want to be focusing on using weights that are going to be 90 to 95% of your 1 rep max for 2 to 3 sets of 1 to 2 reps and 2 to 5 minutes recovery. As the weight goes up and the intensity goes up, you're going to need more rest in between. If you're trying to build a little bit more speed strength, so that's a combination of strength and speed, you're going to use weights that are going to be 70 to 85% of your max for 4 to 6 reps of 2 to 4 reps with 2 to 3 minutes rest recovery. And for more speed, 50 to 65% of your max, 4 to 6 sets, 2 to 4 reps with 1 to 2 minutes recovery. Now, if you want to look, feel, and perform your best without living in the gym, it's not enough just to know what exercises are best. You need to program them into a specific way to build athletic muscle. To do so, all you need to do is head into the description below and book your free transformation call and hit subscribe. How do you use the hang clean to build athletic muscle? All Olympic lifts require triple extension of your hips, knees, and ankles in a coordinated pattern. This movement stimulates the triple extension that is needed both in sprinting and jumping. So when you use exercises like a hang clean, you're going to develop strength and power in the same area where you can transfer those directly from the gym to the playing field. This is what's known as dynamic correspondence, a term dubbed by world-renowned training expert Yuri Verkhoshansky in the 1990s. Essentially, dynamic correspondence refers to an exercise's ability to transfer over directly from the gym onto the playing field. Now, Yeah, this sounds like a pretty complex term, but it's not nearly as much. So just think, if an exercise mimics some of the same motor abilities, the range of motion, and force generation of what you're doing on an athletic field, that's why it's going to transfer over more directly to the playing field from the gym. The key to using hang cleans and explosive Olympic lifts to improve athleticism is to focus on quality rep execution and taking optimal rest, not trying to compete like you're at the CrossFit Games. Remember, freshness and optimal technique are absolutely crucial for building athleticism. Did you find this video helpful? If so, pound the like button because it will get quality training information into the right hands. And if you're looking for a proven system to build a lean, powerful, and athletic body, all you need to do is head down into the description below and download your free copy of the Chiseled Muscle Cheat Sheet. It is 100% free and available for you. And if you haven't already, make sure to pound that subscribe button and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next video.